So welcome to Small Farm Living. Today I'm going to share with you what I do to get better strawberries. Now these are my strawberry beds from last year, and I just wanted to show you these because the strawberries look really good and healthy, and they did produce, but only about half of what they should have. And the reason why is they suggest transplanting your strawberries into a different bed every 2 to 3 years. Now every year strawberries will put on runners like these, and there will be 2 to 3, maybe even 4 little plants that form along that runner, and they put on roots. And these, the following year, will provide strawberries. So this bed right here, I actually put some straw down last year and I mulched it to keep the weeds down. And I'm going to share with you coming up here why I've decided to do something a little bit different this year. But what we're going to be doing is moving these strawberries into a different bed. Now these ones right here, you can see the blooms on some of them and the other ones don't have blooms. And again, that's because some of these plants have not been moved for more than 3 years, but most of them are about 3 years old. So here is the bed that looked so beautiful when it was mulched with straw. Now this bed over here, I chose not to put the straw in it because I wasn't sure if there was any weed seeds in this straw. So I thought if there were, it would be best to only have one bed to deal with that if they existed. Thankfully, there wasn't much. But now I'm going to show you here, this is this year currently. The straw kind of starts to break down and gets mushy, but what you will notice is, see this little runner right here? It makes it really hard to find these, to clip them out, and to separate them all with this stringy straw in here. And it gets very wet and mushy. I do live in Oregon and we do get a lot of rain in my zone. So I'm going to pull all that out. Now this is a bed that I am moving them to. We're moving them to completely new beds, and I want to amend this really well. So what I'm using is a granulated organic fertilizer. What I'm putting in right here, when I make my own potting mix, I sift out all the clumps of peat moss and everything else, and I am dumping that in here because strawberries do like this. And what I'm going to do is just rake it evenly over the top of this bed. And these beds do have a lot of worms in them, so it won't be long and the worms will be working this down into the soil. Next, I have a bag of well-rotted chicken manure that I purchased at our local feed store, and I'm going to be using about a half a bag of this. I'm going to break up the clumps and I'm going to get that spread around as evenly as possible. And lastly, I have a bag of organic potting soil that I'm going to put in this bed as well. Now last fall I did amend this bed after I took the plants out, but I'm giving it a second amendment because strawberries are pretty heavy feeders and I want to make sure there's plenty of nutrients in this bed for them. So now that we have it all prepared, we're going to actually start working on the strawberries. Now again, this is the bed that we're taking them out of, and what I'm going to do is show you what strawberries look like in different stages. Now about every 2 to 3 years, more on the 3-year side, you're going to want to actually discard the old strawberries. So I'm going to dig up a few here so that I can show you an example of an old strawberry plant and a new one, and what to look for when you're going to be dividing them. Now the one here on my left you can see is very thick. It's about the size of my thumb. That is an old plant. And see this new one? It has nice young tender roots. This old one is going to be put into the compost because it's very woody and doesn't really produce anymore. And the one on the right is one that came off one of the runners, and that will be one of the ones I put in my new bed. So I'm going to work my way around digging them up. You can see that this one is kind of thick at the top and it does have some good roots. That one is probably a 2-year-old plant, and I will set that one aside and use it if I don't have enough, but I really think I do have enough runners. If you've grown strawberries before, you know how many runners can come off of just one plant. So this one, you can see the runner is still hooking these two together. I'll trim that off and we will use the little tiny plants to transfer over to our next bed. And then I will just continue working my way through the bed, pulling up the ones with the pretty young tender roots and getting rid of these old woody ones. Now here we are over at our new bed, and all I'm going to do, since I've already put fertilizer down and it's been amended in the fall, and again what we just did, I'm going to make some shallow little holes. Now the thing to remember about strawberries is that they do not like to be buried very deep. They have a crown, which is right here, and you don't want to bury their crown. You want to go just underneath that or your strawberry plant will rot. So I'm just making sure that I get that crown up above the soil, and I'm just tamping it down lightly And I'm just going to pick up each one. They kind of get stuck together with all those roots, but I'm going to clean off any excess pieces, and I'm just going to work on planting these all so that their crowns are sticking above the soil. Now I will give you a little bit of a closer shot here so that you can see what it looks like when I am planting the crown down in the ground. So here you can see I'm just putting the roots down in, putting the dirt around it, and I'm making sure that little crown that you see right there in the center is above the surface. And that's what I'm going to do around this whole bed. They suggest planting strawberry plants between 12 to 18 inches apart. I honestly go about every 10 inches. It's kind of hard to tell in the video here, but these are roughly about 10 inches apart, and my strawberries do just fine like that. The reason why, too, while I'm showing you all of this, is because strawberries need nutrients, water, and room for airflow in order to produce nice berries and not get moldy or overcrowded. And with the runners that they put on, it's very easy for a bed to be overcome with strawberries. They're all tangled up and they're messy. They're fighting for nutrients, they're fighting for water. So by keeping them spaced out evenly and nicely in rows like I have them here, it allows for me to get them what they need. Now I am just going to water these in. I like to do this first before I put any kind of a mulch down because I want to be sure that all that water is going down into the soil and getting the soil dampened. And if you put mulch on first, a lot of times a lot of that water will get absorbed by the mulch and doesn't actually get down to the roots of these plants and get that dirt sucked around the roots so there's no air pockets or any chance of those roots drying out. So I'm just going to continue to water all of these in. And again, that time-released organic fertilizer that we have in there, it will start working right away once it gets damp, and it will start feeding my strawberries. So now that we have these all watered in, I'm going to show you what I'm going to be using for mulching my berries. Now, in years past, I left them bare, and I do fight with weeds because I live on a hill and every seed node to man blows up the hill and germinates in my good soil. So this year I decided I was going to use pine shavings. I have tons of these for my chickens, and it just helps keep the strawberries when they grow up off of the dirt, and again, that keeps the moisture from rotting the strawberries out. I am making sure that as I put these around each one of the strawberries, I'm not burying the crown with the mulch so that the crown is still protected. Put you on a time lapse here so you don't have to watch the whole thing in slow motion. But I love this because it makes my beds bright and pretty and happy. And again, the soil is covered, so it will help with water retention. It'll prevent weeds and it'll prevent my strawberries from molding. So here we have it all done. You can see how pretty they look. Now they're just small, but again, these were last year's babies and they should produce this year. So again, this is a shot of last year. This is what my berries should look like by this summer sometime. I'd love to have you subscribe. I do garden videos, I do canning and preserving. I also do some crafting videos because I do love to craft. So if you see those, it's me, but I always do more gardening videos. So I hope you found this helpful today. I want to thank you for hanging out with me, and I will see you next time.